about Golden State. Here they go again on the ESPN talking about are they legit title contenders? Stop with this nonsense. Yeah, they spanked Milwaukee last night, but let's be realistic. The way they got waxed by Boston, and you go wonder what side of which is which. Well, if they were still a legit team, you're not gonna get blowed out per se. They 5 games off 100, and you know, but they still are missing that tangible to being a legit team. Um, I'm not sold on what's up, man. What's up? Just talking about Golden State and Kendrick Perkins making this. Just watching it right now. I had to take a take on this. I'm like, no, they're not. I told you I'm tired of hearing about Golden State and the Lakers and stuff. Oh yeah, I'm glad you are on. Yeah, how about Mr. De'Aaron Fox last night? Yeah, you think I'm gonna let that one? I thought about you immediately. But then again, you're right about one thing. They played the Lakers, so that don't really count. But when he on, he on. And I found out an interesting statistic. You probably noticed. Sabonis has got a perfect record against AD. What's this about Anthony Davis and these foreign dudes he can't bang with? Interesting. He was more than nice last night. He tore they behind up. you know. But you're right. I mean, they're not a title team. They middle of the road in the West. But against the Lakers, I addressed it. I didn't do it on a video because I don't want to talk about all the Laker games because that's not what I do. But it's real simple between Denver and Sacramento. If you have perimeter shooters who can knock the three down, they got size. Everybody play better without him. You got size. You can hang in the middle, and you can kick the rock out. They got no answer unless the refs come and save their butt. They cannot beat guard dominated teams that's got inside presence. They can't do it. They can't do it. They will get waxed. They too slow. They too old. That's what Sacramento did last night. Sabonis had no triple double. Fox went off. Monk ball. They don't have this. They don't have. Can I say this in English? They don't have a point guard. I don't care that LeBron is a point, whatever he wants to call himself, or Reeves wants to be whatever, and D'Lo. You saw what I've been talking about. They cannot hang with a team that's got a strong perimeter game with a low post game. That is a recipe for disaster. They too light in the cakes and they too slow in the foot. That's their problem. That's why all that fanfare about them is not going to come to pass. Well, yeah, that too. But you got to have the firepower. You got to have the speed. You know, LeBron and AD are balling. I will, Balco, Falco, but they balling. But think about this, right? You're 34 and 30. You're just the average team. That's all you is. That's all you is. And 10 times out of 9, you're not going to win 50 games. So, and if you notice, they've had this hard schedule. I mean, they got all these games at home, which is a bit, but they lost to Denver. They got ran off, and then they got ran out last night with Sac. They lost 2 games at the crib. They got all these home games. Yeah, they beat Sac. They beat OKC. Okay, got smashed by Golden State. Average team, win 2, lose 2, win 2, win. That's what I'm saying. You know, Well, he don't got no choice. What we supposed to do about that? He can't start no more. You know, he can't defend no more. There are games that he's played 30, 40 minutes and he don't score but like 10 points. What are we supposed to do with that? And if he's a defensive liability, what are we supposed to do with that? And I'm a big Clay fan, as you know, but he's not the same dude he was. I mean, they're stronger with him, the second team. If he shines, he might get his job back, but it doesn't work. They had to bring Kamingas up. They weren't getting productivity with Clay. Let's be realistic. His defense ain't what it was, and if he ain't making them shots, that's what I'm saying. And he ain't an assist man. Now unless he becomes he pulls a Rondo or he pulls a Jason Kidd and he give me an AT&T 10-10-10, okay. Give me 10 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds every game. Okay. He ain't that dude. So what else he got? Freak. Forwards, two guard. I think that however you want to define his position, he could have been one of the best with it because um, the guy was a freak and his defense was on point. But now he just it's just going through motions and it's just not hitting no more. So what am I supposed to do with that? You know, what does he want me to do with that? So that's the problem. You know. Well, see, I don't watch Mc. I don't like McAfee because I just think he to me is kind of like one of them dudes that it doesn't even fit. Though his take on sports is kind of like one of them corporate things, so I never really get it. But really, wow, I haven't seen that. I have to check that out. Really, well, he probably banned him because he knows that's gonna be someone gonna take his job. That's what's up. That's what's up. They want Mac. They got it bad for McAfee to blow up, and I just don't get it. He doesn't really, yeah, he is. Oh, massa. Oh, massa. Oh, massa. I be goods. I'm gonna be goods. What you need, massas? I'll be goods. Yeah, they love that white boy. I mean, I don't get it. I know you kind of like him. I don't get it. I think he's stiff, and I don't really think. I think he's just too corporate. His punchline, his deliveries are all right, but I'm not like blown away. I mean, he's not, because I don't see him as a sidekick. I don't really see him as a mediator. I don't see him as a leader. I just see him as just, you know, you know, his name carries the last name maybe being the McAfee or something like that. But you asking me, do I think that he's got skills? No, I don't. I don't feel him. I don't feel him. But what does he speak his mind about? I mean, I ain't really felt that he's gone into any depth. Shannon speaks his mind. I mean, that's the hottest person they got on the network. Because I'm kind of stiff. I didn't feel it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Fox, they plotting right now to get rid of him. And, he stuck with them two. Oh, boy. Yeah, yeah, he been on a roll. 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 Well, Shannon Wright won't. She's either messing with Stephen A or she messing with somebody in the mix. That's the only reason why I know she got the gig because she ain't really been relevant. And actually, to be honest with you about Molly, the last time she had what I call some peak value was when Kellerman was there, if you want my honest opinion. Ain't really, you know. And when she broke up with Jalen, she had a little spark to it, but it's kind of died. I don't know what happened. Oh, that's a good question. I like no, but you got me good though. There, I had to read that for him. I had sometimes, like I got my eyes on, and I had to like look and see because you put Paul George and T Mac in the same sentence. No, no, no. I would have been better if you'd asked me, do I think he's as good as T Mac or something? But no, no, no. Tell you why. If the Indiana version of Paul George had have continued and been that dude, and that never had been that whole thing with Roy Hibbert or whatever went down, and had a whatchamacallit who came to the Heat that was there, oh god, Danny Granger. Had that Paul George stayed, he would have been better than T Mac, I think, because he was on to something. He was MVP worthy. He was going against LeBron, peer to peer. He was a junior whopper. He was a junior whopper Kobe. He was like what Devin Booker's kind of getting, except he didn't score as much, but he was in that trajectory. And remember, the rest were giving him free throws and all that too. No, his defense is good. I'll give you that, and he can score. But I just don't. I mean, Paul George fell off. Oh God, just his whole Clipper career. I know Pandemic Paul. You remember when you heard Pandemic P? And he just ain't really he needs to redeem himself. This is how he redeems himself. But you gotta remember something. LeBron then won 4 rings and had all that success. And Paul George is like an afterthought. I'm just saying. And Damon Stoudemire, well, not Damon Stoudemire, Damon Lillard waved him off at the hidden. Just CP3. I think you asked me this about a day or two ago. CP3 ain't nothing changed in 24/7. Nothing changed. The only thing that hurts if CP3 had Kevin Johnson's Elijah on posterization moment, he might give even more love. They CP3 is more closer than KJ. I like KJ, but CP3 was, but again, it's the postseason. That's the only reason why CP3 ain't definitively top 5 or 6, but on the outside. But anyway, outside. But the Paul George thing, you got me good with that one. I mean, that's a good one. That's some good. I had to read that thing twice. If he was like T Mac, I'm not even entertaining that mess. No comment. But the only thing I'll say is this. That's the kind of stuff Floyd Mayweather gets like 300 million to do. Jake Paul is getting some hustle. And Mike Tyson is, I mean, it's kind of like what it doesn't do nothing for me. If that was Floyd, I might take it serious though. Only because I know he gonna get that bag. But a lot of these things now are so gimmicky that it's not even worth even talking. It just sounds to me like people need money bad. And though Mike Tyson can still hit and punch, come on now. When he fought that Irish cat, McNeely, when you say shuffle too much, are you talking about him acting like he yes a bossa? If that's what you're talking about, I will answer that. Because if that's where you're going with it, yeah, he's always had pop culture love. The funny thing about Tyson is that he comes off like a brother, which he does, but he also had that crossover appeal, which he does. He's kind of like a more streetier version of what Ice T did, but they do. Tyson got appeal for a guy who's considered like a thug and scary, black or this or that. Mike Tyson defies logic because he is, but yet he got crazy crossover appeal. He got crazy. It's kind of him and Tupac would almost be like kindred spirits in that regard. That just means that they're like 9 different people. If you talk to them, you'll probably get 5 different answers about how they are. I've seen that with him. He's actually a people kind of person, but I don't know if this is a shuffle, he just needs money. But yeah, he's been that way. He came out of prison, Nation of Islam, and then that lasted for a while. Changed his diet, which he is vegetarian, and he does look well. He the man looks good, all that. I know. And Poyer, I like Poyer a lot, but they know that they got to get something in the secondary. They have to. They have no choice. I mean, they can't keep getting brutalized by Kansas City like they do. That's just a fact. They're getting beat on the ground. They're getting beat slants, curves. They're not putting no wood, and they're getting ate up in the middle. They've lost to Kansas City just getting manhandled. So that means they have to up the talent tier to get some better defense. I think Von Miller's probably, if they don't let him go, I'll be very surprised. But they just don't have the manpower to stop what Mahomes can do. And he's not even beating them with what he usually beats them with. He just beats them physically. Okay. That's just the reality. They get pounded. They get pounded by Cincinnati. They too light in the cakes for them big old receivers. Burrows just hits little slants and have a hard time tackling. They just don't have, they're not physical enough. When the Milano come back, but they're just not physical enough against a team like that. That's one of their problems, if you want my honest opinion. They athletic and quick, but they don't have the physicality. They get manhandled. Okay. That just means that their case against him was, there's two things. That case had some weight and he ain't the player he was, but they still need enough of him to give him another shot. That's what's up. Had they gone to a Super Bowl, we wouldn't be having that discussion. Because he still got something in the tank. I just don't know if we can get much out of him. I just don't know. If we had Devon Miller of about 5 or 6 years ago, those guys don't get released. So that's how I feel about that. What's up, DP? How you living? Who, who did? Who did the roasting? Yeah, I know. I know you are, DP. Who roasted him? Yeah, I remember you. Ted just asking me a question. Who roasted him, Ted? I told you. I gave you I did a video about him. I wasn't shocked that he got released and he didn't fit their style and he was a diva. I'm okay. Hope you feel better. Every time someone says they're sick, I'm always wondering if they got that COVID, just saying. Who roasted him, Ted? Yeah, he was. Yeah, I remember. Oh, Mark Slayer. Mark Slayer still on ESPN or is he on Fox now? Yeah, I hope you're feeling better. Oh, Slayer. So Slayer was good. I will give you that. Really good alignment, very good. But he's a bit of a diva, though. I hope you get better, man. Sorry, any kind of fever ain't no joke. Slareth was good. I don't know if you got to see any of his highlights. He was good, but he one of them white boys. He's a snob. One of them snarky white boys. Kind of walk around with his nose like Slareth always cracked me up because he always be but it's true. You talking about Russell Wilson, the prime? Uh he he left Denver because he came in there with them offices and he kind of dictated stuff and he didn't really go there with the right agenda. He wasn't humble for a preacher type of guy he is. He went to Denver with a bit of a grandiosity, and that's why they couldn't wait to get his butt up out of there. I'm just calling it 100. He had a very C minus D plus Denver experience these 2 years. Being honest, C minus D plus. That's what I would give him as a grade for his time in Denver. Because you got people who pretty much don't think he's a Hall of Famer now. What you think, Ted? Some don't even want him in the Hall. I saw Nick Wrong, say he's not a Hall of Famer. Said 8 years of productivity, downplay it. He was debating that with Chris Broussard, and then I do like first thing I do like watching them show. They crack me up. They kind of entertaining. And he was debating with Colin Hurd about. I still think he's a Hall of Famer, but if he has another year or two like that. Yeah, I do too. I think he's a HOF. But I do think he done some damage to his persona because he stunk the first year. There is no getting about it. He missed some bad plays in the end zone. That's a game against the Colts, and he was just throwing the ball over the place. And he just looked bad. He looked bad. He played pretty good in spurts. I know they're gonna say he was one touchdown less than Patrick Mahomes, but some of them games were garbage games because it just was stat padding. He had some big games. He had some stinkers, but I knew Sean Payton round him out wasn't. I just knew that Sean Payton wanted to get a certain type of guy, and he didn't want to deal with the headache because he looked at him as a diva. That's why he got rid of him, and he was. Well, he was because he had. Okay, maybe he watches this show. What do I always call a bum? A guy who can be what? Great. He can be good, but he sells for mediocrity. So maybe the owner been watching this show. Oh, Walmart been watching the show. Well, there you go, Walmart, because it's just like your store. You can be average, which you mainly are. Some things are good, and then sometimes it's great. But most of the time, you settle for average. You bumming. You feel when you feel like it, and he did have that. He had that kind of. Well, Russell Wilson was better at his job than Westbrook at his job. Let's debate that. If I'm taking one Russ over the other, now Russ Westbrook, I like more because he played hard and he makes the most of what he does. But Russell Wilson came up bigger, one bigger, came up bigger, carried his team. Westbrook, like I said, some things about him kind of turn me off. Sometimes I feel like he's playing 21 out there. He's stat padded sometimes. And now that it's the end of the road, he's fitting in with the Clippers. And I do respect him as a man, and I respect what he's doing by giving back to the community. Oh, yeah. 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 Well, a lot of people beat your Packers, but that Jimmy G beat your Packers. What you want, a cookie? I mean, and I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Don't get mad. I'm just saying. Dak never beat your Packers though. But Westbrook, yeah. Ted will tell you about Westbrook and the OKC. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like Westbrook in OKC. I mean, he was, yeah, he MVP. You know, didn't always agree with some of his tactics, but yeah, he will be a Hall of Famer. Ain't no question about it. Cam, Cam had a great run when you think about it. I mean, you come out of college when you win a national championship. You're a Heisman Trophy winner. You lead your team a one loss. Yeah, I'm gonna address that in just a second. You lead your team. Cam then had a better career. Ain't going nowhere. Gonna go. Where's he gonna go? Unless he gets the Raiders. Now you got to really put your mind with that. I would have said Pittsburgh. Well, I appreciate that DP, but that ain't gonna happen because Kendrick was a former player and he's a slurper. He slurped up, so I don't have a chance. You can hear me okay? Because I'm going to answer what Zeke said. Can you see me now? Are we good? If we're good, give me the thumbs up. All right. I mean, I'm glad you said that, but I mean, I don't really boast or nothing. I don't. I don't Kendrick Perkins. I mean, I don't even know how he got the gig, really. I mean, he looks like a deacon. He sits up there. I think all of us combined probably could do his career point average. Got over. He was kind of like an inside man. He happened to be associated with LeBron, associated with KD. So ho- hopefully this thing will be better. They like him. Well, Kendrick was never a prima. Now I can talk about Carmelo. No matter what you think about him, we'll debate him against obviously with Charles Barkley. That'll debate him with any. If you play for a team like so when I'm not talking about Zeke, but I'm talking about Isaiah Thomas that just played. He left the Celtics. I don't hear they and he left Boston. What would you? He's a good example of a guy who had an out of body. No, if you do, I'm just saying I don't, but I know I'm gonna address that. No, I'm no, it's cool. I have no I address it because some people do. Some people are offended. Some people are offended. I have to talk about that. Like for instance, let me give you an example. If we were sitting up here talking about music right now, I get offended. Somebody might be uncomfortable with saying his name. I wouldn't be because I like this music. I separate the two. Yeah, they would. Uh, let me explain. Bill Russell would be like a point center because he actually, if you watch the passes, he would throw the outlet to Kuzi. So he wasn't just some guy who just sat in this board. He actually had athleticism. He could move. I do believe Bill Russell could have played today. He had a mental. He had this.